So as you all know, a little thing happened the other day, which I guess people are calling Signalgate. Actually, to be fair, I don't know if they're calling it that or if I just made that up now. But anyway, the backstory is when planning the illegal bombing of Yemen's Houthis, you had all of Trump's foreign policy advisors and his cabinet officials. They were in a group chat on Signal, right? Now, this is literally not legal. There are official ways to communicate that these high level officials should be using, and if you don't go through with the proper channels, there are security issues at play, right? Like, this stuff is hackable. You could have our adversaries can learn about it and know about it. They're very haphazard with this. They act like a fraternity, right? It's like these are college frat bros who don't know what the fuck they're doing. They don't know their ass from their elbow, and they're shooting from the hip. Right? And by the way, of course, these are the same people who whined and cried and bitched and moaned about Hillary Clinton's emails, right? That was like front and center for them. Oh, reckless handling of classified information. We've never seen anything this reckless. Because the other part of the story is not only were they talking on Signal, but one of Trump's foreign policy advisors, Mike Waltz, who's a massive neocon, he added to the group a reporter, Jeffrey Goldberg from The Atlantic. And seemingly didn't realize he did it, didn't know that he did it, right? Now, the reality of the situation is, Mike Waltz is a massive neocon. Jeffrey Goldberg is a massive neocon. And what was happening, this is my speculation, but I think it's warranted, I think it's merited. What was happening is, Mike Waltz was leaking information to Jeffrey Goldberg so that he can sort of shape the narrative in a more pro-neocon direction. Right, so this is somebody in the media who Waltz trusted, who he had been in contact with, right? Now, of course, this was a big deal when it happened. They can't get their fucking story straight. One person says something completely different from the next person. They admitted it at one point that this happened. Then Hegseth goes out there and fucking lies and is like, bro, not even true, bro. I don't know what you're talking about, bro. And so they're a mess. They're a mess. Now, I will say, because I think this is a fair point, that it is kind of frustrating how the bigger scandal in the media is the fact that they're using Signal and the journalist was invited in and they're being reckless with the classified information and the process is wrong in terms of how they scheduled and organized this bombing. The media acts like this is the biggest part of the scandal. No, the biggest part of the scandal is that the bombing of the Houthis was completely and utterly illegal and unconstitutional and wrong in the first place. The only reason they're bombing the Houthis, they say, is because we want to stop their blockade, making sure the Houthis are making sure Israeli ships don't get through the Red Sea, right? And they're doing that because Israel is killing Palestinians relentlessly in a genocide. And the Houthis have said, hey, we will stop doing this if you have a permanent ceasefire. If you stop the genocide, we are done with this. And we know that that's the case because when there was a temporary ceasefire, they stopped seizing the ships. So in other words, instead of doing the thing that would get their desired result, namely the Houthis would stop blockading, they're just like, how about we bomb them, right? Totally illegal, totally unconstitutional. There is no declaration of war for this. There is no authority for this. They always lie and say it's part of the war on terror. The Houthis are like a Shia fundamentalist group. They're not Al-Qaeda. They're not ISIS. They're not Sunni fundamentalists. These are not the people who attacked us. It's totally fucking bogus bullshit to pretend like that's the case. So to me, the bigger scandal is the bombing at all. Like, just the bombing itself, right? But having said that, this is kind of a big deal too, to just highlight their complete and utter incompetence, right? Like, these are genuinely stupid people. These are people who are not ready for prime time. People like to live under the illusion that our leaders are like, agree or disagree with them. They're really intelligent, thoughtful people. No, this is a bunch of fucking frat boy idiots who don't know anything. And, they're using Signal to illegally plan bombings. Okay, so Mike Waltz has, a lot to explain here because he's the one who brought Jeffrey Goldberg into this group chat. And he goes on Laura Ingram's show. And guys, Laura Ingram is a complete and utter right-wing hack. She's a MAGA loyalist. This is supposed to be a total softball interview. But Mike Waltz shits the bed so immensely hard that he makes it look like Laura Ingram is fucking grilling him. Because he has horrible answers on everything. So here we go. Let's watch this. as my friend on Twitter, Randy, says, this is a 13-year-old lying to their parents tier lie. All right, here we go. Ready for this? This is amazing.
So your staffer did not put his contact information.
No,
but how did it end up in your phone?
Well, that's what we're trying to figure out.
Okay, but that's a pretty big problem.
That's what we've got the best technical minds, right?
That's disturbing.
And that's where, I mean, I'm sure everybody out there has had a contact where it was said one person and then a different phone number.
But you've never talked to him before, so how's the number on your phone? I mean, I'm not an expert in any of this, but it's just curious. How's the number on your phone?
Well, if you have somebody else's contact and then somehow it gets sucked in.
Oh, someone sent you that
It gets
contact.
sucked in.
Was there someone else supposed to be on the chat that wasn't on the chat that you thought was on the chat?
So the person that I thought was on there was never on there. It was this
Who
guy.
was that? What person?
Well, I'm not. Look, okay. Laura, I take responsibility. I built the group.
Oh my God. None of that made any sense. None of that made any sense. Bro, I never talked to this guy. I don't even have his fucking number, bro. Well, if you don't have his number, how did you accidentally pull him into the group chat? By definition, his number has to be on your phone for you to pull him into the group chat, which we objectively know that you did. Bro, you ever had a thing where like it's you think it's somebody else, and then it's the other person, and then they get sucked in, bro? You ever been sucked in, bro? Like what are you saying? What are you saying? Guys, we are it feels like we're right back in the fucking Bush era with a lot of this shit. Right? It feels like because Rumsfeld was historically incompetent. They had this guy, Ahmed Chalabi, who they pretended, after we topple Saddam Hussein, this guy is going to govern Iraq and everybody will be happy. And like he was a fucking nobody who we tried to prop up as our puppet and he couldn't sniff power. Right? Like this is the immense level of incompetence. Like you had time to think of a better lie and you couldn't do it. Well, if you don't have his number, how did you accidentally bring him in? Well, you ever had one name, but it was actually a different number, and then they get sucked in. We got the best technical minds looking on how this possibly could have happened. Bro, who are you kidding? Who are you kidding? It'll be interesting to see if he takes a fall, though. It'll be interesting to see, because here's the weird thing. For whatever reason, this news became like the biggest news in the country. And it looks like the Trump administration, their normal approach is to just like say fuck off and just plow ahead with everything, regardless of what the scandal is. For some reason, this one is hitting, where they all feel the need to like explain themselves and try to act and try to like provide a cover story, and they go, oh yeah, we're going to investigate it. Well, guess who's going to be the lead investigator of this investigation? Mike Waltz, the guy who you see right here. So, but it's funny because they're like talking about it and they're trying to make excuses for it. So it's not just the typical like fuck off and they plow ahead. Like they're taking it more seriously for some reason. I don't know why. Because again, like the illegal bombing of the Houthis in the first place is a bigger deal than the way you went about it, which was incompetent and stupid. But for whatever reason, this one took hold. And it's getting more and more embarrassing as time goes by. Somebody shared on Twitter, you ever heard of, what they called it? They called it an idiot plot, I think, where it's like, there's a story, and the only reason the story is a story is because everybody involved is an idiot. And if people weren't idiots, then there wouldn't even be a story, right? And that's what you're seeing here. It's like one preposterous thing on top of another on top of another. So I got this for you too, ready? Pete Hegg said yesterday, quote, nobody was texting war plans, and that's all I have to say about it. And so then Jeffrey Goldberg sees this, and, basically, they've been shitting on Jeffrey Goldberg left and right, most of the people in the group chat, right, including Waltz sort of threw this guy under the bus. And because they did that, now he's put in a position, he wasn't going to release any of the messages, which I think he was wrong to say that up front, that I don't want to release it, national security reasons, etc. He wasn't going to release them. But now that they're shitting on him relentlessly, again, because they're all idiots, they force his hand, and he's like, oh, really? You didn't text war plans? Here are the war plans you texted. Boom. Team update. Time now, 11:44 Eastern Time. Weather is favorable. Just confirmed with CENTCOM. We are a go for mission launch. F-18's launch. First strike package. Like, he's giving the play-by-play, the timing of the bombing, like every update. We are currently clean on OPSEC, operational security. The fact that you are saying this on Signal illegally with the journalists involved, you are not clean on OPSEC. So they're just shoving their foot in their mouths one day after the next after the next. And so, yeah, Jeffrey Goldberg came out and he said, quote, people should see the text in order to reach their own conclusions. And this is him saying, I wasn't going to share these, but now you assholes are smearing and tarnishing me. So here, everything you fucking said is a lie. You were literally directly texting war plans, you fucking assholes. So, oh my God, it is fucking amateur hour, bro. Like, with Dick Cheney in particular, he was a warmonger and he was evil, but he was also intelligent. This is like, imagine being a warmonger and evil and just fucking the dumbest person you've ever seen in your life running the missions. Look, I said it before, man. I'll say it again. Anybody who's in the military, who has a conscience, I'm sorry, you got to resign. You got to step aside. You have to be a conscientious objector. Because this is what they're doing now. They're doing unnecessary and illegal bombings of Somalia and of Yemen right now. But soon it's going to be Iran. And soon it's going to be Mexico, right? And we'll take Panama by force. Trump was asking for direct war plans to do that. Lord only knows what they're going to do with fucking Greenland. I know J.D. Vance and Usha Vance is going there now. Why? Why are you doing that? They don't want you there. They don't want to be part of the United States. Why? Why are you doing this? Because they're old school imperialists and colonialists. And so if you're in the military, there is no, hey, I was just following orders. That's not a sufficient response, as we've learned from the Nuremberg tribunals, right? Like, history will not look at you kindly because, oh, I'm just a soldier who follows orders. That's my job. No, you also are a human being with a conscience, with the ability to reason and think logically and think in moral terms and ethical terms. And there is something wrong with all of these fucking people and the shit that they're doing. So wake up, man. And, I mean, shit, I would say Mike Waltz should resign, but the fact of the matter is, all these fucking assholes should resign. All of them should fucking resign. None of them should have any position of power. Trump himself should fucking resign. These people are taking us to hell, and it's never been more clear. Hey, y'all, do me a favor and like and subscribe. It helps out big time in the algorithm. Click the bell as well for notifications when videos drop, and watch that video on screen right now. You know you want to.